Okay, so now, hello, we start the new lesson. The new lesson is also in the book. We want to solve systems of equations again, but this time we have three equations involved and three unknowns, but not the hard ones. These are called first linear again, because the highest power of the unknowns are still one. So solving system of equations, if I just randomly write a system for myself even, I might not be able to solve it analytically, yes? So solving system of equations is extremely important in science and mathematics, but we have to approach them with care because not necessarily all of them are simple to solve. So we are solving and discussing about those things. We have found a method to solve them, yes?
I have a question. Can two variables that have different names have the same
Yes,
value?
yes. That is important too. Yeah, I told you in the beginning in Math 1C, if I say a variable is x, the other variable is y, it means that uh, they might be equal or might not be equal. But if I say the same letter, I cannot say that they are not equal. They have to be equal. Yes. Okay. So here, this is the first thing I want to do today. Mainly, we will practice about these kinds of systems a little bit. I have three equations instead of having two equations. Then I have also three unknowns instead of having two unknowns. But the idea is the same. What I want when I ask you to solve this, what do I mean by that? I mean to give me a triple for x, y, and z so that simultaneously that triple of numbers that you provide for me satisfies the first and the second and the third. Okay? But if I find one answer for x, one answer for y, one answer for z, in total, how many answers I got for the system? Just one, not three. Yes? That's it. I don't know if. How do you think we should solve this problem? I don't think, by the way, it's extremely hard. I tell you I tell you the systematic way to approach the problem, but can you understand it yourself without a teacher telling you that? A little. So you remember for system of two equations and two unknowns, I introduced you two methods. Do you remember the names? The first method was called substitution method, and the second one was
Addition.
addition method. For systems of two equations in two unknowns, linear systems, I think you agree with me that the addition method was simpler sometimes, most of the time, yes? But the substitution method is completely generic. I mean, that is the first thing comes to your mind if you want to tackle a system of equations, method of substitution. So this method of substitution is probably the best way to tackle this problem, not the addition method. Yes.
Can you not do the addition method first so that there are two variables
Yeah, you
left,
can do.
and then
So
afterwards?
these things don't close your brain. If you can find a shortcut, just do the shortcut. But I cannot rely on finding the shortcuts all the time because sometimes there are no shortcuts. We have to follow the path. Yes. So the method of substitution works here. Okay, but it is much longer. I mean, not much longer. Two steps longer, three steps longer. I mean. So do you remember in the in the method of substitution for two systems and two equations what I did? Do you remember what was the method of substitution? I said that first of all choose one of the equations in your system. That is the first step. The second step was to choose one of the variables in that equation that you choose and make it the subject and find it and put it back into the other equation. So that's the same story here, but because I have three equations to consider, it becomes a little bit longer calculation. So first of all, you need to decide about one of the equations. In principle, it doesn't matter which one you choose, but practically it matters. One of them becomes simpler sometimes in calculation rather than the other one. The same rule of thumb will still work. I want to rely on your intuition first. If I want to choose one of these systems, which one do you think I will choose? That's not my choice.
Second one.
I will choose the second one. And if I choose the second one, which variable I will choose? Z. Why is that? Because the coefficient is small. So that's the first thing I do, okay? So I will write the second equation, and then what I do, I make Z my subject. What does it mean? We had it in Math 1C. I isolate Z. So I pretend that they are known. I move them to the other side. 3 is already there. And then it becomes minus 4x plus 7y. Yes? So this equation, let me highlight it. This equation is used. So it served its purpose. That's it. Forget about this. I have two more equations left. Take this z and substitute this expression here and here. Okay, so that's the substitution method again. So what I will do, I will write it patiently. So I will go to the first equation, 3x plus y, 5y minus 3, but instead of z, I substitute this expression. So 3 minus 4x plus 7y, it becomes equal to what? 34. And then you do its simplification. It is long, but it is not hard. So it becomes 3x plus 5y. I multiply minus 3 in, so it becomes minus 9 plus 12x minus 21. 21y is equal to 34. Still, I can simplify more. 12 and 3 becomes 15. And then 5y minus 21y becomes minus 16y. And I move minus 9 to the other side. We can do it in our head. What's the answer? 41. No, 43. And then let us put this in a box because I will need it. Okay, but the problem is that, so I also use this equation. So let me highlight that. There's one more equation that I haven't used, this one. I will do the same thing with this one. So what does it mean? It means that I copy and paste the first two terms, 2x plus 3y. But then I have minus 2. Again, I substitute the z there as well. So it becomes 3 minus 4x plus 7y is equal to what? 22. Again, simplification. So 2x plus 3y, I multiply minus 2 in, so it becomes minus 6 plus 8x minus 14. Y is equal to 22. And then I want to simplify it. So if you don't mind, let me simplify it exactly here. So I have 2x and 8x, it becomes 10x. And please watch my calculations. If I am making a mistake, please let me know immediately. 3y minus 14y becomes minus 11y. And then what should I write on the right side? 28. And now what happens? I have another equation here. Now I set up a new system which consists of these two equations and do it as I did for systems of two equations in two unknowns. So you see a system of three equations in three unknowns in general should be reduced to a new system of two equations and two unknowns. Okay? And then I solve the new system. So you see, this is why it's a boring job. But computers are extremely good in doing these kind of repetition calculations. Okay? But you need to know the algorithm so that you can put it in the machine. Yes? So what I will do, I will write a new system. So that system is no longer my concern. I have a new concern, and that is that system. So it is 15x minus 16y is equal to what? 43. And then I have 10x minus 11y equals to what? 20. So it means that you can momentarily forget about your original problem. Your problem is this. And if you have practiced about this problem before, your problem is solved. You can find x and y. When you found x and y with what we learned before, I put it back in this equation, and then I find my z, and my problem is solved. So that's the only thing that you need to learn. And I told you, it is not very interesting problem. It's boring, but you have to learn it at least for this chapter. Yes? Okay, so which one now you prefer to do this? You can use the method of elimination, which is awful here because the numbers are not that good. And then I will use the method of addition is better, but do it in optimal way. So tell me, now you have enough experience, hopefully, and then you know that next week you have the exam, so you should be very well in doing these calculations. So what should I do now?
Choose the second equation, times it by minus 1
1.5 works, but why? Because that is not easy for multiplication with decimal numbers. So 15 and 10, there is a good number there, yes?
Multiply the 15 with 2 and the second
Yes.
one with 3.
With minus 3.
Minus 3, yes.
Yes. So 2 and minus 3. Why is that? Because when I multiply this by 2, it gives me 30, and this also gives me minus 30. So that's the goal. Yes, I will do that. That's the best choice. Thank you. So what we'll do, I will do like this. I multiply 2 in, so it becomes 30x minus 2 times 16 is 32. Y is equal to 43 times 2, 86. I multiply the other one by minus 3. What happens? Minus, don't worry about that. If the numbers are big, as I did in the quiz, I will give you access to the calculator. So minus 3 times that one, it is this one, and then minus 3 times minus 11 is what? Plus 33. It's not that hard, but minus 3 times that. You need to practice a little bit. These are not hard things, you know. You want to buy a pen, 28 crowns. You want to buy 3 pens. You don't know how to calculate. You just trust the cashier. Yes. So you say that 3 times 2 is 60, and 3 times 8 is 80? 24. So 60, 24 is 84. But there is a negative sign, it's minus 80. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, but now what do I know? What I do? I will add, because that's the addition method I'm using. So these two are gone. This is extremely simple. What's that? Y. And this is also extremely simple. 2. So finally I got the Y.
Now you can insert it back.
Yes, insert it back. You can insert it back here, but why should I do that? I insert it back in one of these equations that are simpler in form. I would prefer to put it here, if you don't mind, okay? So I will put it here, so it becomes 10x minus 11 times y, which is 22, is equal to 28. So 10x becomes what? Can you do it in your head? 50. So what is x? 5. And then finally, now that x and y are settled down, I go back and I calculate my z. Z is 3 minus 4 times x. X is 5. 4 times x is 20. 7 times y is 14, which is 17 minus 2 is minus 3. So what I need to write the answer? Answer is what? X is equal to 5, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to minus 3. How many solutions I got for the system? 1. If someone asks you what are the meaning of these numbers you found, Babak, I would say that these are the only numbers for x and y and z, so that when I replace x, y, and z in my equations with these numbers, the left-hand side matches with the right-hand side, not only for the first one, but for all of them. Yes, that is the lesson today. I'm not saying this is a very interesting and exciting topic. We can make it exciting, but first of all, you need to learn the basic ground of the problem, and then we can. And what I'm telling you, as Hasbullah said, might be you get different system. This is the method that always works. But it doesn't mean that if accidentally you find a shortcut, don't use it. You know, please use it. Don't close your brain. The beauty of mathematics is just see outside the box. This is what I told you. When I teach you, I have to give you the way that you do it in the box, because this is the most general way. But I will try, of course, to give you some problems, I always do, to increase your creativity level for solving problems. But do you understand what's going on? Okay, first of all, I need to give you one system, wait for you, solve it for me, okay? So let me see a standard problem. I will give you a standard one, might be the numbers. If you need calculator, use it on your, because I don't know how good you are in calculating. These are not hard for me. If they are hard for you, you have to use the calculator. Okay, so let me write one problem here for you on the board, wait for you, okay? So definitely in the coming exam, you will get a system like this. And I think level 3, there is no level 1 problem of this type. If I give you a system standard like this is not A level, but this is C level, okay? So let me write another system here for you and wait for you. X plus, I make it a little bit simpler for you. So this one, and then I have x plus 2y plus 4z equals to 8. And then I have x plus 3y plus 9z is equal to 27. Yes, I want to wait for it. I will start writing more here, so if you can finish faster than the others, don't waste your time, continue towards them, okay? So I will continue to solve this one for you. Please, if you have done this one and you learn, you don't need to waste your time listening to me again. Try to solve the hard. This is not hard, this is still standard. These are a little bit computationally lengthy, they are not hard. If you need your calculator, use your laptop for just calculating small numbers. Okay, but the people who have still troubles, listen to me so that I can repeat everything from scratch again. Okay, so my goal is to solve this problem here. First, I told you, you need to choose one of the equations in your system. Which one you prefer to choose here?
First.
The first one. Okay, so write the first one here. And then you need to decide about one of the variables. Which one you prefer?
Z.
I hope that you understand all of them are of the same difficulty level. So let us choose Z again. So make Z the subject. Isolate Z. So you have to move these two to the other side. X goes to the other side, becomes minus X. Y goes to the other side, becomes minus Y. Yes? And then I go back to my system again, substitute what I found in the second and the third equations that I haven't used now. Now I want to use the second one. So I start writing the second one. It is x plus 2y plus 4z. But z is this expression. I substitute this. Equals to 8. And then you have to be patient, simplify this, which is a simple E-level question to simplify this expression. I open it up by multiplying 4 in. 4 goes here, here, and there. So it becomes minus 4x minus 4y is equal to 8. Simplification is not finished yet because x minus 4x can be simplified more, minus 3x. 2y minus 4i is minus 2y. I move 4 to the other side, it becomes what? 8 minus 4 is? So that is the equation. I put it in a box, I will need it in the future. Now I go to my last equation that I haven't used so far. I start writing it down. X plus 3y. And then I have 9. But z again should be replaced, should be substituted by this. So it becomes 1 minus x minus y equals to what? 27. And again, simplify it. So it becomes x plus 3y plus 9 minus 9x minus 9x minus 9y is equal to 27. But x minus 9x is minus 8x. 3y minus 9y is minus 6y equals to, I move 9 to the other side, becomes what? 18. This is a second equation that I will need. Okay, so what I will do now, my equation, my system of 3 equations in 3 unknowns is reduced to a new system, but only 2 equations and 2 unknowns. That equation in the box, I write it here. The other equation in the box, I write it here. For example, you can see that I can divide everything by 2 here. It is better. I mean, if you divide by 2, you have to work with the smaller numbers. But if you don't like, the numbers are not so big. So which one? So now I want to use the method of addition. Addition method is better for these systems. So I want to get rid of y, yes? Because if I want to get rid of x, I have to multiply this by something, multiply this by something else. But here, if I concentrate on getting rid of y, I can do it with one multiplication. Multiplication by what? Minus 3. Very good. Why is that good? Because if I multiply by minus 3 here, I will get a new system. The second equation is as before. I didn't touch it at all. But when I multiply minus 3 here, it becomes 9x. This becomes positive 6y. This becomes negative 12. And that was enough. Because now if I use the addition, this one is gone. And 9x minus 8x is x. And 18 minus 12 is 6. So, happy, I found my x. So in the world of mathematics, you can be immediately happy. Yes, you were looking for x, you found it. So you become happy. But in the real life, if you want to be happy, if you want to have a luxury car or something, it is not that easy, is it? So I would recommend you go to the world of mathematics. Of course, mathematics could also be very cruel because many people worked on many problems for centuries they couldn't solve. Anyway, x equals to 6. And then what do I do for finding y? I go back, not in this equation, I go to the simplest possible one. I would prefer to go to the first one, if you don't mind. So I will write it here. So minus 3 times this x I found is minus 18. Y is still not known, is equal to 4. I move 18 to the other side, becomes what? 20, 22, and then y becomes minus 11. Yes? So Hasbullah, these answers are not your answers, are they?
Yeah, I changed it.
Okay, but now are they?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, now the last scenario. Yes, but don't lock the door, please. So what happens now? I put it back where? In the first one, here. Okay, so z becomes, let me write it here, 1 minus x minus 6 minus y, minus 11. So it becomes 1 minus 6 plus 11, which becomes, no, 6. Yes. So z also becomes 6. And then what you have to write for the answer, x is 6, y is minus 11, and z is 6. And I hope that you agree it is not easy at all to guess, even though the numbers are very friendly, but still it was not that easy to be able to guess these numbers so that it works for all of them simultaneously. Okay? And now I want to wait again for you. The people who still need practice, that is a good practice because that is of the same level of difficulty and it is a standard, very standard problem. You will have one of these questions definitely in the coming exam next week. So be careful about learning them. Very good. So I will wait for you. The people who are confident that they can do it, don't spend time that much on it. Go to the little bit harder ones. And still the people, they couldn't find the answers correctly for this one, I recommend you to do the top one up there. So I am giving you, this will be one of the questions in the next exam, the coming exam next week. What, these type of questions? The standard ones, not the very hard ones. Hard ones might be there, but higher level questions. Okay, so let me solve the simple one first. You still can continue. Okay, if I want to solve that one again, let me describe everything from scratch again. Which one of these equations you prefer to choose?
The first one.
The first one. Because this one doesn't have any coefficients. So what I will do, I will write the first equation here in front of me. So 2x plus 3y minus z equals to 24. I isolate my z. I decide about getting rid of z. If you want to get rid of x, it is possible, but then you have to divide everything by 2. Then you have to work with fractions, which is not a good idea. So I will move these to the other side. So minus z becomes 24 is already there, minus 2x minus 3y. But I want to get rid of this minus sign, so I have to multiply or divide. It doesn't matter in this case, by minus 1. So then it becomes z. If I divide this by minus 1, it becomes minus 24. This becomes positive 2x. This becomes positive 3y. So that is the equation I used. What I do now, I will substitute this in these two expressions. So now I want to use the second equation. So if you don't mind, let me also put this in a box that doesn't hurt. So I will write 4x, the second equation, minus 2y. And then I have plus 3 times z, but z is this expression, is equal to 6. Okay, and then 4x minus 2y, I multiply 3 in. 3 times 24 is 72, but negative. 3 times 2 is 6x, and then 3 times 3 is 9y, is equal to 6. And then I simplify. 4x plus 6x is 10x, minus 2y plus 9y is 7y. Then I move 72 to the other side. It becomes positive 72. I have a 6 there. It becomes 78. So that is one of the equations I was looking for. Now I go to the third equation here. Yes? So I write 6x. And then I have minus y plus 2 times z. But this is your z. Yes? So it becomes minus 24 plus 2x plus 3y. And on the right hand side of it, I have 22. Again, the simplification is necessary. So this becomes, I multiply 2 in, minus 48 plus 4x plus 6y is equal to 22. So you see it is lengthy, but it is repeating itself over and over. So 6 and 4 becomes 10. Minus y plus 6y is 5 y's. And I move this to the other side. I think we can do it in our head. What is the answer? 48 plus 22 is at 70. Yes? Okay, but that is very simple. Because now I take this equation I had and this equation and put it in the system. This is probably a simple one because you don't need even to change anything, yes? And then I have 10x plus 5y is equal to 70. What do I think I will do here? Method of addition is better here, yes? For example, I multiply this by minus 1. So this becomes 10x 7y is 78. And this becomes minus 10x minus 5y is minus 17. And then I add them. When I add them, this one and that one are gone. 7 minus 5 is 2y. 78 minus 70 is 8. And then finally you get y equals to 4. So when you have your y, you go back to the original equation, this system, choose one of them. I choose this one with smaller numbers. So this becomes 10x plus 5 times y, 5 times y, 20, is equal to 70. So I move this to the other side, 10x becomes 50. So finally x becomes 5. Now I have y, I have x, I go back to here. And then finally I find my z. So z becomes equal, it is there on the board. I have a minus 24 there. 2 times x, x is 5, 2 times x becomes 10. And then I have 3 times y, so it becomes 12. So if you calculate this, it becomes minus 2. So z is minus 2. And then if you want to write the answer, so you write, let me write the answer here. So the answer is that x is 5, y is 4, and z is minus 2. This is the answer. Okay, let me use this opportunity to also teach you how to do this in GeoGebra. Now we go to GeoGebra. Do you remember in GeoGebra, if you want to solve, you start with solve, yes, and then solve equation. But remember, you have to start with curly brackets and type all your equations in. So let us solve the same thing here. So just type it here. So what is the equation? Can you read it for me, please? 2x plus what? 3y. What? 3y minus z is equal to 24. Yes. And then you separate it with a comma. Write the second equation. So it is 4x minus 2y and then plus 3z. Plus 3z equals to which number? 6. And then I put a comma. Let me open up a little bit of space for you. And then here I type the next and last equation. 6x minus y and then plus 2z is equal to 22. And then as soon as you finish typing, GeoGebra provides you the answer. X is 5, y is 4, x is 5, you see my answer, x is 5, y is 4, and z is minus 2. So what we have done it is correct. Okay, so remember, you have to put curly brackets if you want to solve a system of equations in GeoGebra. Any questions for the normal systems? They are lengthy, but you see that they are repeating themselves over and over again. So that is also, these are lengthy. If you don't mind, let me start with doing this one. I hope that if I solve that one, you can already solve that one as well. Because I want to, these are not very interesting problems. These are lengthy, boring problems. Okay, we can also solve some more interesting problems related to systems. Okay, but let me start with that harder one. What do you suggest? What is your suggestion for me? So if you don't mind, you can think a little bit so that I can erase the board, make everything ready. I want to leave this for you. I would say that might be this is looking harder. So let me just do this one today. And then you can do this at home for yourself and check your answers using GeoGebra if you have done it right. So here, please start thinking about I want to clean the board. So what do you think is a good idea to start solving this? Any ideas?
You can see that at the bottom,
No?
it's I will try to remove, because it's divided by 3 and at the top it's divided by 6. I can try to make it so that they are both divided by the same number, and
Yes, but that is not very optimistic. I understand what is your strategy and it is good, but the form of the system is so complicated. Unless we are so fortunate and lucky, we cannot find that way of doing things. Yes, I think the designer of the question has designed it in a way that no shortcuts is possible, unfortunately. Anyway, so what is your suggestion then?
isolate Z.
What?
You know what Z is already, yes?
Z is not, no, Z is not already isolated.
No,
That's all.
you can
Is Z isolated here?
No,
No, unfortunately there's a Z here as well.
you can
So.
try to isolate Z.
No, but before that, I don't know why don't you do, trust me, fractions are hard for our brain, especially for your brain. Yes? Because if the calculator is not there, you don't know what to do. So the first thing that you need to do for solving an equation is, I am repeating this from Math 1C, that get rid of the fractions as soon as possible. So you have to multiply these equations first to get rid of all the fractions. You will be in the video, okay? Okay. So what should I do now? So let us be patient and try to do it together. I want to get rid of 5 and 6. So what do I do? Multiply by? No, 6. Why 65? I don't know.
6 and 5.
6 and 5 means 30. They're the optimal one. between 6 and 55, really the optimal one is 30. There's no simpler one. So we have to suffer a little bit, multiply this by 30. But the multiplication should be done in a wise way. So I don't want them, usually I don't write them, I do them in my head. But I want to explain it as a teacher, so let me write it for you here. Yes? And then on the right hand side, I will multiply this by 30. So this is multiplication by 30. But do it in your head. When you multiply this by 30, don't multiply 30 here. It is not wrong, but it is not optimal. So 30 and 5 can be simplified. What is left from 30? 6. And multiply 6 there. So it becomes 6x plus, no, 18y. 6 is multiplied to everything. And then repeat the process. Multiply 30 here in your head. 30 and 6 are simplified. What is left for me? 5. Multiply 5 by everything. So it becomes plus 5z. On the right hand side, I have 30. Okay, so then I have to simplify things. Yes? So what happens? This becomes 6x plus 23y. Yes?
Yes.
And then what should I do then? Move this to the other side, then it would be really horrible, you know. Minus 25z. That's one equation. And then I have to do the same thing for the other ones. Now, can you do it in your head?
What?
Because we want to make it shorter. I have to multiply by what?
7 there and 3 there.
So it's 21. 21 is the optimal one. But when I multiply 21 here, 21 and 7 are simplified. What is left? 3. So you multiply 3 there. So it becomes what? 6x plus 15. You see, it is not that hard. The reason it becomes hard because I want to explain and write everything. But if I do it quickly, it's not that hard. So this is 50. And then when I multiply 21 here, I have to multiply 21 here. But 3 and 21 are simplified. What is left? 7. 7 should be multiplied into the numerator, which becomes 28z plus 35. But on the right hand side, I should also multiply by 21. What happens? It becomes 21z plus 21. And let us simplify things. So it is becomes 6x. What? There is no y involved in this problem.
Yes, there's only
Okay.
one.
So then I move this to the other side. It becomes 7z. And this one and that one is 40. No, 50. I move it to the other side. Minus 50 and 21 there. What is the answer?
Minus 29.
What?
Minus 29.
Minus 20. Let us do the other one in our head. I should multiply by what? 24. Do it in your head. 24, what happens for the first one? 24 that I am multiplying, and this 8 will be simplified to 3. 3 will be multiplied. So it becomes what? 9y plus 21. The second one, what happens? 24 that I am multiplying, and these 3 are simplified. 8 is left. 8 is multiplied. So it becomes 16z plus 8. On the right hand side, I have multiplied by 24. So it becomes 24y minus 24. I simplify things. So how? 9y, I move 24y to the other side, it becomes what? Minus 15y. Then I have 16z here. I have minus 24, minus 8 is minus 32, minus 21 is minus 53. Yes? Okay, this is a little bit of exception. So first of all, it was calculationally very boring. You have to do it in an optimal way. Now we have my equations without fractions. But now, I don't know, let me write them down here in front of you to tell me what should I do. So let me write these 3 here. One equation is 6x plus 23y minus 25z equals to 0. The other equation is 6x plus 7z is equal to minus 29. The next equation is minus 15y plus 16z is equal to minus 53. Okay, I want now might be your shortcuts are better to think about. Yes? Yes.
We can do addition method with the second one and the first one because there are 6x on both of them.
Yes, do you see? So don't follow exactly what I told you in the box. Be careful, don't let the lengthiness of the problem distracts you of deluding you that into that this problem is a hard problem. It's not a hard problem, no? Because I'm just doing what I told you. The numbers are bad. You have your calculator, you do the numbers. Okay, but now be creative, because if you are not creative, then you are in trouble. Why? Because it doesn't matter if you choose this one, choose this one, choose that one. You need to eliminate one of them in favor of the other one. Then you have to divide by a number. And again, you go back to your old story of having fractions. So before doing the hard one, you see, when Hasbulla could detect, you should also be able to do that. You see, here 6x and 6x is crying out what to do. Get rid of me. Yes? So what should I do? So I deviate from thinking in the box here. So far, in the last 3-4 problems we solved, I was just thinking in the box. Yes? But I don't need to do think in the box all the time. So if you realize, what can I do? I can multiply this by a minus sign, or multiply this by a minus sign in my head. What happens? It becomes minus 6x minus 7z. It becomes 29. Yes? And then I add this one to that one. So be open to new possibilities. Yes? So, do you understand what I'm doing? So because of these 6x's, I deviated from what I'm supposed to do. I'm open to what life presents. Yes? So life presented this opportunity for me. I catch it. If you don't catch it, then you are in trouble. That's your problem. Yes? So I actually multiply this by minus sign. I add this equation to this equation. You see, this is not something that I could anticipate and teach every time. But when you understand what is going on, you should be able to do that. That is the whole point I want to teach you, hopefully, by when, if the school is not, if the school is still there, and when you reach the third year, I hope that when you reach to the third year, I have just told you how to do this. Because this is the important thing. It doesn't matter how many problems I solve for you here. You need to be able to think for yourself. That's important. Okay? So I add this one to that one. Is it useful or not?
Yes.
Okay. So I do this in your head. Take this one and add it here. 6x and 6x are gone. Good. 23y survives, unfortunately. Yes, but why? Yeah, why not? Unfortunately, because that's also good to leave. Okay, so minus 7z and this one. What happens?
Minus
32z's. Yes? And then what happens on the right side? 29. Because there's 0. Okay? But do you think this is good? Why? What do I do next? Tell me. Yes, Omar?
Take the minus 15y.
Yeah, you mean, so you see, I copy and paste the same equation because that equation involves only y and z. So why not? I write minus 15y minus what? No, plus 16z is equal to minus 53. Okay? You know, you see, this is a little bit of thinking outside the box, because my goal was to have a system of two equations in two unknowns. I have it now in a strange way. It is not following the rules. I didn't follow the local rules. I am following math rules in general. Okay? But now, can you see what can I do? Don't be distracted with these numbers. Don't immediately jump to your calculator, because it is manageable, I think, without calculator as well. Yes. What should I do?
Multiply the second one with 2.
With 2. Because now you realize there is a connection between these two. So I multiply the second one by 2. So what happens? I will have my first equation, 23y minus 32z is equal to 29. I multiply the second equation by 2, minus 30y plus 32z is equal to minus 100 and 6. And when I add them, what happens? This one and that one are gone.
-7.
So it becomes minus 7y is equal to what? This one is how much?
77.
70
-77.
minus 77. Yes? Minus. And then the numbers are friendly.
Y equals
So minus 77 divided by minus 7 is 11. And now you are extremely happy.
Minus.
No, because minus minus. It becomes positive.
I said minus.
Yes. Okay. You're lucky, yes? Okay, and then I want to go and find my z. So which equation you prefer? Hopefully you prefer this one. So I put 11 there. What do I get? Minus 15 times 11. 165. Minus 165. And then 16z is equal to minus 53. So I move this to the other side. 16z is equal to 156, 65 minus 53. What's the answer?
112.
112. And then z becomes 112 divided by 16.
Come on, bro.
What? 7.
7. Yes, 7.
Yes? 7. You are enjoying math now. So 7. And then unfortunately x is missing. What should I do for x? I will go to one of the simple ones in the middle. Which one you prefer? This is horrible. Forget about it. This doesn't have any x's within it. So this is the best option. So what I would write 6x, and then I would write 7 times z, which is 49, equals to minus 29. So 6x becomes this one plus that one minus 49 minus 29. What is that?
-78.
78. And then x becomes 78 divided by 6, which is?
12.
No. 13. So it's minus 13. Yes?
Yes.
And these are finally your answers. Okay? So you see that this problem, according to standards of your course, was a very horrible problem, but we didn't even need calculators or something. So don't let the problem scares you. Okay, I will not give this question in the exam, of course, but I will always tell you that you need to learn to solve hard problems if you want to succeed in the future. Okay, now I want to give a simple problem. Here you don't, so here you need to be a little bit creative, otherwise you will be in big trouble. But creativity is not essential to this problem. I just followed more or less standard ways. But let me ask you a different system. Okay, can you solve this system now? For example, let me write this system. X plus y is equal to 3. Y plus z is equal to, I don't know which numbers. I want to make them friendly, but let us say that 5, and then z plus x to be 4. Okay, so to be honest, I value this problem more than that hard problem from creativity point of view. Yes, because here, to be honest, I was not that creative. I was just following a set of rules that I have learned from when I was 18. So. But here I have to be a little. I mean, if you are creative, you might be solve the problem in a matter of seconds. Yes. So this is a system of how many equations? 3. And how many unknowns? Again 3. But the problem is that the first one lacks z, the second one lacks x, the second one lacks y. But that's it. 3 equations and 3 unknowns. So here I want you to be creative. It works if you follow the box, the rules in the box I just told you, it will work, and it is not lengthy. If you write that, that's okay with me, and you will get the full points. But can you find an alternative way? to do it faster. I will solve the problem in two ways. One, using the method in the box, thinking in the box, and one a little bit faster. Yes, Omar, do you want to tell me what to do?
Yeah, the first system and the second one, I just used the addition, and then I got x plus 2y plus z, which is equal to 8, and then I put that, copy paste it to another.
Yes, it works.
And then,
but it works. There is a more efficient way. So here we are competing about efficiency, like the Apple, iPhone, and Samsung. You know, you want to compete, so you need to offer a better way to do it. So the competition. I mean, if you do it normally, definitely it works, and I will be able to give you this in the exam. And if you solve it exactly according to the rules I told you, you will get the full points. But I want you to see compete with the best way to solve the problem. Yes, now we give the chance to Ismail.
So I was thinking if we do everything addition except for the last one, we.
This is more or less what Omar said.
No. I don't know what he said, but zeta plus x equals 4. We make
So if you add these two, for example,
yeah.
Omar said x plus 2y plus z is equal to 8.
8. Yeah, and then minus 8 minus 4 is 4, and then everything it's equal to 2y equals 4, and y is equal to 2, and then z is equal to 3, and x is equal to 1.
Yeah, so yeah, that's correct. So more or less what Omar said is this one. By the way, I realized that what Omar said is also good. I didn't realize what you said at first. I thought that because I was thinking about my own way, I didn't listen to your way that much, sorry. But that is what Ismail is saying is also true. So what you are saying, you are adding these two. But I was thinking to add all of them, which is a little bit really outside the box. Why this is useful? Yes?
Is it,
if I add all of them, I'm saying that this is a strange. Why should I add all of them? But if I add all of them, I will have how many x's? 2 x's. How many y's? 2. And how many z's? 2z. So it becomes what? It becomes 2x plus 2y plus 2z is equal to what? 3, 5, and 4. What is that? 12. And then you divide by 2. It becomes 6. Now what happens? Do I know y plus z?
No. Yes.
Y plus z is 5, so x is 1. Do I know x plus y?
yeah.
It is 3, so z is 3. Yes? And do I know x plus z? 3, so y is what?
4 is. Z and
X plus z
is 4.
is 4, so y is 2. So that was I was thinking is better. You know, I'm not saying what you said is wrong. Yes, but if you see that when I add and divide by 2, I have this combination, which is in general not useful. But because of this problem, the problem was designed in a way that it was useful. But if you want to I want you to understand that you don't need to be creative if you follow the rules. If you want to follow the rules, what do? You have to choose one of these equations. Let us choose the first one. Sandra, do you understand what's going on? Yeah, did you understand? Because your face is not very happy. Yes? Okay, so now you understand good. But now let us follow. If you are not creative, that is the good to have the rules in the box, you know? So what should I do? I will choose one equation and I choose one variable. Let us get rid of y. So I would write x plus y is equal to what? 3. So y becomes what? 3 minus x. And then I go to the other two equations, here and here, and substitute. So when I go to the second equation, instead of y, I write what? Is equal to 5. I move 3 to the other side. It becomes minus x plus z is equal to 2. But if I go to the third equation, no substitution is possible because there is no y left there. What should I do then? Okay, no worries. I just write my equation there. And then now I use the addition method as normal. It becomes 2z is equal to 6, so z becomes 3. Z becomes 3, x becomes 1. And then I put this back here, y becomes 2. So this is the standard method. So it works, and it works very fine, nothing very lengthy. but I would prefer to be a little bit more creative sometimes to be able to solve these kinds of problems. Any questions? Okay, so I don't want to disturb you more than that, so I will stop here, but the lesson is not finished for systems, so we will continue this lesson next time. Thank you. Just wait a little bit.